There's a lot of debate about what truly makes a bullet lethal. And let's be honest, most of it is pure speculation. For years, gun enthusiasts have gone back and forth over which caliber is best for self-defense, throwing around terms like stopping power and knockdown force as if they were absolute truths. And, of course, there's the age-old belief the bigger the bullet, the deadlier it is. But hold on, it's not that simple. The truth is, bullet size isn't everything. Sure, a .45 ACP might look like it could stop a charging rhino, but in real-world scenarios, it's far from the magical one-shot solution some people imagine it to be. And those who still think the 9mm is too weak for self-defense, that myth has long been debunked. So, what really makes a caliber effective or even deadly in a self-defense situation? It's not just about size, it's about a combination of factors like penetration and expansion. A bullet must be capable of reaching vital organs while also expanding to create the largest possible wound channel to neutralize a threat quickly. Without both of these attributes, you might as well be throwing rocks. But wait, there's more to it than that. Even penetration and expansion don't tell the whole story. There are countless variables, some measurable, some not, that determine how lethal a bullet actually is. Simply picking the biggest caliber on the market and hoping for the best isn't a winning strategy. Today, we're cutting through the myths and taking a deep dive into what truly makes a bullet effective. From popular handgun calibers to cutting-edge ammunition designs that are changing the game. This discussion will give you a clear understanding of why the so-called deadliest caliber in America might not be the one you expect. Let's get started. Magnum calibers. When people talk about the most deadly calibers, the usual suspects are the .44 Magnum, .454 Casull, and other high-powered rounds. These calibers were designed primarily for big game hunting, typically used in large-frame revolvers that deliver immense stopping power. Take the .44 Magnum, for example. It commonly fires a 240-grain bullet at speeds of 1,200 to 1,300 feet per second from a 6-inch barrel, generating 750 to 900 foot-pounds of energy for lb. The .454 Casull takes it even further, pushing a 300-grain bullet to speeds of up to 1,600 feet per second, producing over 1,600 feet lb of energy, an absolutely staggering amount of force. These numbers showcase the sheer raw power of Magnum calibers, making them excellent for taking down large animals. But when it comes to self-defense, that extreme power becomes more of a liability than an asset. The first issue? Massive recoil. In a high-pressure self-defense scenario, being able to control your firearm and get off follow-up shots quickly is critical. But with Magnum rounds, the heavy recoil and long reset time make rapid follow-up shots challenging, if not impossible, for many shooters. The second concern is over-penetration. Magnum bullets don't just stop at the target, they punch through walls, doors, and multiple barriers with ease. This poses a serious risk to bystanders, particularly in urban or home defense situations. Lastly, firearms chambered for Magnum calibers are large and heavy, making them impractical for everyday carry. Compared to smaller, more manageable handguns, Magnum revolvers are far less convenient to carry, draw, and control in a real-world defensive encounter. So, while Magnum calibers deliver extraordinary power, they aren't the best choice for self-defense. In real-world situations, the balance between recoil, penetration, and maneuverability matters far more than sheer force alone. Handgun calibers. When it comes to self-defense, most shooters consider popular calibers like 9mm, 40 S&W, and .45 ACP. These rounds strike a balance between recoil, penetration, and stopping power, making them top choices for both law enforcement and civilian use. 9mm, the king of self-defense rounds? It's no coincidence that 9mm is the most widely used handgun caliber worldwide. With bullet weights ranging from 115 to 147 grains, an average velocity of 1,0001, 200 feet per second, and muzzle energy around 300,400 feet lb. The 9mm offers an ideal balance of power and control. Its biggest advantage? Lower recoil, which allows shooters to fire faster and more accurately, especially in high-stress situations. Plus, 9mm pistols typically have higher magazine capacities. For example, the Glock 17 holds 17 rounds, compared to just 8 rounds in a 1911 chambered .45 ACP. 40 S&W, the middle ground between 9mm and .45 ACP, designed to deliver more power than 9mm while remaining more manageable than .45 ACP. 40 S&W was the standard for many U.S. police departments throughout the 1990s and 2000s. It typically fires a 165 to 180 grain bullet at 9,501,100 feet per second, generating 400,500 feet lb of energy. However, its harsher recoil and slower follow-up shots led many agencies to switch back to 9mm. Especially as advancements in bullet technology made 9mm perform just as effectively as 40 S&W in self-defense situations. 45 ACP, does bigger always mean better? The .45 ACP is famous for low penetration but excellent stopping power, thanks to its large and heavy bullets 185,230 grains. Moving at relatively slow speeds of 8,001,000 feet per second, producing 350,500 feet lb of energy. Its biggest advantage? It creates large wound channels, helping to stop threats more quickly. However, its downside is lower magazine capacity. Most .45 ACP pistols hold 7 to 10 rounds, compared to 15 to 17 rounds in 9mm handguns. So, which one should you choose? For self-defense, 9mm is arguably the best choice due to its lower recoil, higher capacity, and improved terminal performance with modern bullet designs. 40 S&W remains a middle ground option but is losing favor, while .45 ACP is still a solid choice for those who prefer fewer but more powerful rounds. Bullet technology. Bullet technology has advanced significantly in recent decades, making smaller calibers far more effective than they once were. Today, choosing the right ammunition isn't just about caliber size but also bullet type and real-world performance. Hollow point, the gold standard for self-defense. For self-defense and law enforcement, hollow point bullets are the gold standard. When they hit a target, their hollowed-out tips expand rapidly, creating larger wound channels and increasing stopping power without excessive penetration. Advantages of hollow point bullets. Better stopping power due to larger wound cavities. Reduced risk of overpenetration, minimizing collateral damage. Works well with smaller calibers like 9mm, making them as effective as larger rounds. Popular choices include Federal HST, Speer Gold Dot, and Hornady Critical Defense. Full Metal Jacket FMJ for training and military use. FMJ bullets have a copper jacket surrounding a lead core, which enhances penetration but does not expand upon impact. This makes them less effective for self-defense but suitable for training since they are more affordable than hollow points. Military use due to international treaties like the Hague Convention, which prohibit hollow points in warfare. While FMJ rounds offer high penetration, their use in self-defense can be dangerous, as they may overpenetrate and hit unintended targets. Modern bullet technologies. Beyond hollow points and FMJs, modern innovations have further optimized bullet performance. Bonded bullets prevent bullet separation upon impact, maximizing retained weight and effectiveness. Polymer-tipped bullets feature a polymer tip for enhanced accuracy and controlled expansion. Frangible bullets designed to shatter upon impact, reducing overpenetration and collateral damage. These advancements have made smaller rounds like 9mm just as effective, if not more so than larger calibers, reshaping the debate between big versus small bullets, size versus practicality. When choosing a caliber, performance isn't the only factor. Practicality matters just as much. A powerful handgun is great on paper, but if it's too bulky, difficult to carry, or hard to control, its real-world effectiveness diminishes. Gun size and carryability. For personal defense, the ability to conceal and carry comfortably everyday carry, EDC, is crucial. Handguns chambered in .45 ACP or .44 Magnum tend to be larger, heavier, and hold fewer rounds. In contrast, 9mm firearms are more compact, lighter, and typically have higher magazine capacities, making them ideal for self-defense. Compact subcompact guns exempli Gracia, Glock 19, SIG P365, S&W Shield easy to conceal, comfortable for daily carry. Full-size guns exempli Gracia 1911, Desert Eagle, S&W 686 better accuracy and control, suited for military or law enforcement. Choosing between size versus power depends not just on personal preference but also on intended use. Recoil and control. Larger calibers generally come with greater recoil, making fast and accurate shooting more difficult, especially for less experienced shooters. For example, 9mm has low recoil, making it easier to control and allowing for faster follow-up shots. .45 ACP has stronger recoil, which slows down shot recovery time. .44 Magnum has extreme recoil, significantly reducing firing speed and requiring greater skill to manage. This is why most modern law enforcement and military forces prefer 9mm. It allows for faster, more accurate and more controlled shooting in real-world situations. Magazine capacity a critical factor. Another key factor is ammo capacity. A standard 9mm pistol typically holds 12-17 rounds, while a .45 ACP or .44 Magnum may hold only 68 rounds. In self-defense or prolonged engagements, every extra round matters. Having 510 more rounds in a magazine can mean the difference between life and death. This is one of the reasons the FBI switched from .40 S&W back to 9mm. They found that rate of fire, accuracy, and capacity outweighed the marginal stopping power advantage of a larger caliber. Final takeaway: larger calibers more powerful but heavier, bulkier, and harder to control. Smaller calibers like 9mm easier to carry, easier to control, faster shooting, and higher capacity. In real-world combat, a smaller, easier-to-handle gun is far more effective than a large-caliber firearm you can't control well. Skill, accuracy, and training. When evaluating firearm effectiveness, caliber and power aren't the only factors. Shooter skill is the most critical element. A powerful gun can't compensate for a lack of experience or poor shooting technique. Caliber size doesn't replace skill. There's a common misconception that a larger caliber automatically means a more effective firearm. In reality, landing accurate shots quickly is far more important than raw stopping power. A well-placed 9mm shot is far more effective than a missed .44 Magnum round. In self-defense situations, reaction speed and follow-up shots matter more than the stopping power of a single bullet. This is why law enforcement and military forces worldwide favor 9mm over larger calibers like .40 S&W or .45 ACP. Recoil and its effect on accuracy. A firearm with excessive recoil is harder to control, especially in high-stress situations. If you can't consistently hit your target, then caliber size becomes meaningless. 9mm has lower recoil, easier to maintain sight alignment, allowing for faster follow-up shots. .45 ACP has stronger recoil, makes rapid, accurate shooting more challenging. .44 Magnum has extreme recoil, nearly impossible to use effectively for quick defensive shooting. If you don't train regularly, choosing a firearm with lower recoil and better control will significantly improve your ability to shoot accurately when it matters. Training the ultimate equalizer. No gun can turn a poor shooter into a skilled marksman. Regular training is the most important factor. Master the fundamentals: proper grip, trigger control, and sight alignment. Train in real-world conditions. Practice in simulated self-defense scenarios rather than just static target shooting. Develop reaction speed and draw efficiency in a life-threatening situation. Reaction time is more important than caliber size. The difference between a skilled shooter with a 9mm and an inexperienced shooter with a .45 ACP could mean life or death. Final takeaway: skill matters more than caliber. A small round that hits is better than a big round that misses. Recoil effects: real-world effectiveness. Easier to control guns lead to better accuracy. Training determines firearm effectiveness. No gun can replace skill development. At the end of the day, the best gun isn't the most powerful, it's the one you can control and use effectively. So, what is truly the deadliest caliber? If you're expecting a definitive answer, here's the truth: there is no single, most lethal caliber. Bigger bullets don't guarantee victory. Higher velocity doesn't automatically make a round superior. A bullet's effectiveness depends on how it is used. You could have a devastating .44 Magnum, but if you can't handle the recoil or hit your target, it won't matter. On the other hand, a skilled shooter using a 9mm or even a .380 ACP can deliver serious stopping power. Remember, the deciding factor isn't caliber size, but shot placement and control over the situation. So, what do you think matters more, caliber size or shooting skill? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. What's your go-to caliber? Do you have experience with any of the rounds we discussed? Let's talk. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. See you in the next video.